Hi. Hi. My name's Stan.
Hi, Stan.
And I'm a recovery addict.
Yeah.
You know, at first, when Rhonda asked me to speak today, I didn't really wanna. I don't know why. I guess I was just thinking about the old days when talking at a meeting meant making up a whole story. A whole new personality, really. It was kind of easy at first. I mean, I'd just tell a story that I'd seen on TV or read in the paper and add lots of booze or drugs or whatever. For a while, I subscribed to the Soap Opera Digest, and that was the greatest. Except, I think people started getting really suspicious, especially when I got my sight back. Towards the end, though, I really started scraping. I got stories from the Inquirer, National Geographic, Kitty Rogers Records, Cliff Notes. In fact, I had a close call at an AA meeting once. Some guy told me that my story reminded him a lot of Tales of the City. It's just that I heard such incredible stories in those rooms that, I don't know, I guess I just got competitive. I guess what recovery has really shown me is just how boring my life really was. Also, it just seemed that recovery was sort of happening. You couldn't open up the paper or turn on the TV without seeing that somebody was coming out of Betty Ford or telling Johnny what a junkie they used to be. And I did see some stars at those meetings. You'd be surprised. I mean, I can't use any last names or anything, but Cher? And I know that part of it was that I just wanted to meet people. I don't drink, so I don't like to hang out at bars. And I wasn't meeting anybody at work. You just don't meet a whole lot of people at Shoe World. I went to my first meeting by accident, really. This church I go to has a group for young adults. It's Christian, but not real guilty. Sort of like Reform Unitarian. And they were going to have this speaker, some kind of missionary. And I was a little late. And I guess I went into the wrong room because it turned out to be an AA meeting. And I didn't realize it at the time, but it seemed kind of strange that this missionary was standing up in front of everybody telling them what a drunk he used to be. On and on. And at the coffee break, when somebody came up and asked me if it was my first time, and I said yes, well, I got 24 phone numbers just like that. No last names, but still. I went from having one guy at work I kind of talked to a page full of people telling me to call them any time of day or night. So, I got the schedule. I did a meeting a day, more on the weekends. I learned the slogans. I bought the bumper stickers. I don't even have a car. Well, the trouble started when I began speaking at these meetings. That's when I started making up personalities. I was a CIA operative, the head of a kite company. I went to a meeting near the UN, and I told everyone that I was Dag Hammarskjöld's illegitimate son. Well, the thing was, it really got tough trying to remember what story I said at which meeting. So, when I pretty much exhausted AA, I moved on to OA, Overeaters Anonymous. And that was pretty easy because I could reuse my AA stories and just substitute all the alcohol for Edamons. And I didn't do drugs, so I went to Narcotics Anonymous. And then there was CA, GA, DA, another CA, and I think an FA. Well, that's when the bottom really started to drop for me. I got so busy going to all these meetings, I lost my job. And I was applying for a new one. And on the application, the first line, first name, Stan. Last name. I didn't know it anymore. I went home and checked my mail. All my mail was addressed to occupant. I freaked. I said, that's it, no more meetings. I'm stopping cold turkey. Stay home, watch TV. Well, you know how long that lasted. By the end of the first evening, I ended up at something called RA, Republicans Anonymous. Well, that's when I knew I needed help. But where do you go for help when your problem is self-help in the first place? Well, that's when I found your guys' ad in the Learning Annex. Anonymous, Anonymous. And I've been here for about 6 months now, and things are starting to get better. Shoe World took me back. I'm even starting to date someone. Or I've even started to date someone. And at first I told him that I was an ex-Ayatollah with a cocaine problem. But eventually I told him the truth. And we'll be celebrating our 3-week anniversary this weekend. I guess what recovery has really taught me is that I don't need to pretend that I'm fucked up in a way that I'm not. That my higher power has fucked me up perfectly just as I am. And that if I just take things a day at a time and make it simple, well, maybe I won't even come to this meeting someday. Maybe.